All right. So since I did that early review of Barry Windsor-Smith, earlier review of Barry Windsor-Smith of his rune stuff, I thought I might as well go as far back as I have of Barry Windsor-Smith. This is the earliest issue of Conan I have, and I want to collect the entire Conan series, but I have a lot of issues I have to sort of get. And I feel like Conan is that perfect character to kind of understand the ability of an artist. I think that if you're drawing Conan and you're drawing it well, you're a great artist. That's just my opinion. There have been so many great Conan artists. I mean, obviously you have John Buscema, who is the quintessential Conan artist. You have Barry Windsor-Smith, a little bit of Neil Adams, and of course, you have the earliest one that I know of, which is Frank Frazetta. Yeah, man. So let's just pop this guy up. Open. I actually have it in Mylar because I bought this before I really started getting into comic book, drawing comic books or drawing. But now I'm just gonna pop this fucker open. Probably gonna have to get some new. Probably gonna have to get some new tape. I never open these up. I could probably actually get away with, if I'm careful and don't get a tape pull, I can probably just retape this. It's very difficult. We're getting there, we're getting there. Alright. Let's get this out. Not the cleanest copy at all, but for like the $5 I spent on it or whatever, it was a good pickup. I have flipped through this maybe once, and I think it was when I bought it, and then I never flipped through it again. So it'll be fun to flip through it. So this is Barry Windsor-Smith before he was the Weapon X Barry Windsor-Smith. Man, look at that. His anatomy. Man, it was just bumps. I don't think he knew anatomy at this point. We're going to try to pick this guy up and be as careful as we possibly can. Not like it's the most amazing issue of Conan ever, like that, It's, this is no 9.8, I can tell you that. Man. Look at that. Look at that anatomy. Just bumps. It was very Kirby-like. He drew like Jack Kirby. You could tell he was a huge Kirby fan. I mean, why wouldn't you be? Kirby was iconic, a legend. There was no Barry Windsor-Smith colors on this. Who was doing colors? Do we even know who was doing what on this? Sal Buscema was anchor, so he's being finished by Sal Buscema. I have no idea who the colorist was, but it definitely was not Barry Windsor-Smith, I can tell you that. Yeah. Could be, but I highly doubt it. But being finished by Sal Buscema, that's a big deal. I mean, the Buscemas pretty much were just tied to this series. Yeah, man, look at that. Look at that. That is something that, man, that is difficult to draw. And look at that. Oh yeah, man, those Kirby legs. Got a long leg. But you had to do that Kirby foreshortening, because if you didn't, your comics wouldn't look interesting. That arm looks a little wonky, but man, it works. It works. Oh, I love that. Look at that gesture, that arm going over. And remember, when you're drawing, when one limb is going forward, the other one opposing goes forward. Because if they're going forward at the same time, if that arm and that leg are going forward at the same time, it's going to look super unnatural. So that arm is going forward, and then the opposing leg is going forward. Just little things about art that you learn from just kind of being like, oh, that makes sense. Man, look at that. I love that drawing. I love that. That's amazing. He drew this long arm. Man, when people tell you that proportions are super important, I don't necessarily in my opinion, and again, I'm not a pro, so don't listen to what I'm saying, but in my opinion, I don't think proportion is that important because, I mean, look at how long that arm is. It might be as long as the entire it may be longer than the entire body, but it works. It works. I feel like the longer, I think that's why he drew. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. Not a perfect copy. I think the fact that he drew the longer limbs made made his figures look more lanky. Which I like the athletic feel. I don't like the big bulky feel like Buscema does. I love Buscema, but it's nice to see this kind of, thinner Conan. I don't know if Barry Windsor-Smith ever did Batman, but I would have loved to have seen it if he did. I don't think he ever did, but I could be very wrong. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But man, look at how that rib cage bulges out, and he didn't even understand at this point. The proportion of proportions were not on his mind, at least in my opinion, because that rib cage is so far up, and that that ab area is so long. And I mean, look at how he just does the anatomy. It's just squiggles. Just, just squiggles. He didn't understand anatomy at this point. I mean, I would bring out the Rune comics. Here, let's go do it. Hold on. I'm gonna bring in a comparison, and hopefully try to find a piece that's similar. Because, I like talking about growth because I'm trying to grow. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to grow as an artist. Let's see if we can find an abdomen area that Barry Windsor-Smith drew. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find one. Of course I'm not. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I guess you can compare that. So, I mean, I know there's stuff in front. Well, let's try to get it on camera. Compare that to that. It just squiggles at that point. That's more solid. I'm trying to find like a straight abdomen view. I mean, I guess you could do something like that. I mean, there's no weird squiggles going on. But yeah, I mean, he's literally just using squiggles at that point. So very cool. Not, it's just you love to see these growths of these artists. Not a big anatomy guy at this point, but boy, does he become one. I love that piece too. I love the Barry Windsor-Smith eyes and facial features. Again, we were talking about James O'Barr, and I feel like James O'Barr was a huge Barry Windsor-Smith fan. Because how could you not be? How could you not look at this and go, man, this is amazing. But yeah, awesome piece to end the issue. I just love that cover. I love that cover. Cover's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Alright, so let's get this other issue out. Alright. So we got one more issue. I got 11. Man, look at that. Take a minute to look at that cover. Just going to bring it here in the middle. Number 11. Alright, let's open this bad boy up. More Barry Windsor-Smith. The earliest Barry Windsor-Smith I have. Hopefully we don't get a tape pull as I'm bringing this out. Because if I do, I'll be very upset with myself. Alright, we did not. Alright, let's take a look at this. This one I have not opened up at all. Really beat to shit, but whatever. Man, already starting out with this difficult gesture, this difficult pose. And look at that. Oh man, clear as day. That foreshortening, or that contour lines around the form to get it. It's coming towards you, it's going that way. You can learn a lot from these guys. Alright, so we got Stan Lee, editor, Roy Thomas, writer, Barry Smith. This is before he went as Barry Windsor-Smith. And then we have Sal Buscema as embellisher. I'm guessing that's inker. They were trying to be cute about it. And then Sam Rosen as letterer. I can already tell the difference between how much he's improved from issue 4 to issue 11. Look at that. Look at that drawing. Man. I love the movement in Barry Windsor-Smith's stuff. It's like he wanted to figure out gesture and form before he wanted to figure out anatomy. I also think at this point he was still copying, you know, Jack Kirby's art style, because I feel like that was the house style. You know, you need to draw like Jack Kirby, but you know, you look at something like that and you go, that's more like Barry Windsor-Smith. You know, look at that. I mean, his characters were so natural. They always looked natural. They never looked stiff at all. Kicking the door down. Look at that. That anatomy, man. Yeah, I mean, 7 issues later, he gets that much better. That's a weird thing. That's a weird thing. Her foot, unless she's falling into, I don't know. That's a weird panel. Yeah, look at that. Look at that piece right there. I love these like sitting down, leg up positions. Very difficult. Very, very difficult to draw. And then he's like hunched over. He would have been great on Batman. I'm going to have to look this up if Barry Windsor-Smith ever did Batman. To my knowledge, I don't think he has. That face is... yeah. Not the best, but it works. You know, that must have been a quick, okay, I'm done for the day. Let's do that real quick, and then I'm going to go here tomorrow. I mean, some of his stuff was a little flat because I think he was learning. You know, but there was a lot of improvement between just 7 issues of comics. I don't know if he was... if somebody just said, you know what, Barry, do your own thing. But still kind of keep that feeling of Kirby going. Man, look at that. You're doing great on Hulk, too. Look at that. Look at that kick. So natural. I mean, there's not, you know, I don't think Barry Windsor-Smith ever drew anything that didn't look amazing. I mean, look at that. That arm. The arm looks a little weird. The anatomy doesn't look amazing on that arm. But it worked. It worked. I'll be sitting there going, I don't think that arm looks right. Other than me, because I'm a moron. Look at that face. I mean, that's just the sweat coming down. Man. Yeah, man, that's early Barry Windsor-Smith. At least to my knowledge, the earliest I could find. But, yeah. Fucking amazing. Absolutely amazing. Very simple panel, but it looks awesome. So, yeah. And that movement of that arm. Alright, I'm going to do probably Weapon X at some point, and then eventually I'm going to go through Monsters, because I want to look at where he's been from the earliest to my knowledge. What's this? I don't know what year this was. I don't think it was 71. There's no way it was 71. But maybe it was. It seems a little too early. But anyways. Kind of want to go earlier Barry Windsor-Smith. Kind of, I already covered the 90s. I covered early Barry Windsor-Smith. And then I'm going to go on and I'm going to cover... I'm going to cover maybe his... yeah, I'm going to cover like his 80s stuff. Or 90s stuff. More of his 90s stuff. So, alright. Yeah, that's it.